Have you ever wanted to buy a home, but you just don't know where to start? I'm gonna tell you where to start. Home buying 101, coming at you now. You gotta start by finding yourself a good realtor. We act in your best interest. What you wanna do is you wanna sit with me over coffee, over a meal, whatever you wanna do, just reach out. And we're gonna talk about what you like, don't like, how much space you need, what's important to you, all of it. That's that first initial meeting where you decide whether or not to work with me. You're gonna sign that buyer agency. You're gonna say, hey, he knows his stuff. That would be the first step, is signing a buyer agency contract. Basically what that is it exclusively works with you and that agent, saying he's got my best interest at heart and I know he's gonna act on my behalf. From that point on, I'm your dude. I'm gonna give you some resources, I'm gonna answer your questions, I'm gonna be there to communicate for you. That is the role of a realtor. That was the first step. Get yourself an agent. All right, step 2 of Home Buying 101, we are looking at getting pre-approved with a lender. This is also known as getting your funding in place. Listen, if you're a cash buyer, good for you. You did it. But for most of us out here, we are having to get loans. Pre-approvals typically last about 120 days. You can work with whomever you bank with, but also there are other people called lending brokers. They can search across multiple banks to find you the best interest rate. They're gonna tell you what you can afford. That's the most important thing with finding out what kind of price range you're shopping in. They're gonna take your income by looking at W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns. Be prepared to give them everything. But once they look over everything, they're gonna say, hey, based on your income and the amount of money you have going out, here's how much house you can afford. Once you know how much house you can afford, then you'll be able to know what kind of areas you can shop in. Sound good? Sound good. On to the next step. Step 3, the search begins. This is where you hop back over to your realtor. You got your pre-approval letter in hand from your lender and you say, hey man, this is how much house I can afford. Let's go look for that stuff that we talked about that I liked. And I say, okay, cool. Here's the thing. When it comes to searching for a house, you can't change 2 things about the house. The layout typically, and the location. This is how we're gonna shop. We're gonna see what's important to you. We're gonna shop by area, as well as house, as well as price, as well as quality. And sometimes inventory gets light, and that is okay. It just means the opportunities are different and you have to make a list of like, I've got to have these things in my house, and then the kind of want to haves. And listen, if you have been down the line of purchasing and buying homes and this might be your 4th, 5th house, be picky. You've lived in a lot of houses, you deserve it. When you're looking for the perfect home, be sure that we're not being too hard on it either. It is a house and it was built by humans. So some things are gonna be a little bit different than your list. So what you wanna do is you wanna make a must-haves list. This is the stuff that you cannot live without. This has gotta be in my house or I ain't living. And then you have your want-tos. This would be nice. This would be cool. And the thing is if you can get a house to mark most of your must-haves and some of your wants, that is a good dang house. Don't sleep on that house. There aren't very many of them out there right now. Especially in the Kansas City market, when I'm talking about searching for homes, inventory's light. We have investors moving in from both coasts. With all the big things happening here in Kansas City, let's go Chiefs, let's go developments, let's go progress, let's go arts. All of it's happening here. And searching for homes has gotten a little bit tighter because investing has moved inward. There are still houses. It's still possible. We can still get there. You just got to bear with me. Give it some time. Good things come to those who are ready for them and also ready to wait for them. The 3rd step in searching for homes is you are looking for growth opportunities. This means that let's talk about how much work you want. Some people like little projects. Some people like a lot of projects. Some people want to move in with the thing ready and I don't want to even touch it. That's okay. What you got to do, you have to decide how much growth opportunity you're looking for in a house. If you're looking for a lot of growth opportunity, trying to build a lot of equity, your best bet is to get a fixer-upper. Put some sweat equity into it. Trust me, it works. I did it with this house too. If you're looking for something a little more move-in ready, just ride the market. Stuff's appreciating right now. It will appreciate over time, and that way you at least hop into an asset and you don't have to put a whole lot of work in. Let's say you've been searching for homes Let's say you've found one that you love. It's time for step 4. That is to make an offer. You got your pre-approval letter in hand. You've talked with your realtor about what you want in a house and how much you're willing to pay for this. You're gonna talk through what you wanna offer. This, we go through price. We go through how much inspections we wanna hold. We go through what our closing date is. We go through when we're moving in, all of it. We'll discuss every little bit of that. Every contract's different for folks. You gotta go with what works for you and what's best for that opportunity. There are ways to make your offer stronger without having to bump up your price a crazy amount. There are special navigation tricks and also other elements that make contracts strong other than just the price. So that's where you lean into me, your realtor. We'll talk about it, what's possible, find a way to be their #1 pick and get you in the house that you love. Step 5 of Home Buying 101, we're gonna talk about negotiations and contracts. Let's say you're under contract. This is where your offer has been accepted. Now it starts the fun. The first step of this is to submit your earnest money deposit. This is essentially a good faith deposit down on the house. Typically it's 1% of the purchase price. Once you have your earnest money deposit deposited, you are going to then move into the inspection period. Oh, I love inspection periods. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a certified home inspector. Typically you have up to 10 days. The inspection period is your opportunity to inspect the house with professionals at a deeper level. You can do multiple inspections. There is typically a full home inspection done. There is a termite inspection done. There is a sewer line inspection done. The 4th inspection that's most often ran in a real estate sale is what's called the radon inspection. After you performed all your inspections, you and your realtor are going to talk about how things went. If things went well, you can go ahead and sign an inspection notice, say that we're good to go, and move on to the next step. If you find things in the inspection period, you can ask sellers to fix items. They can either fix that or they can say, hey, that is a monetary fix of X amount of dollars, which they would give to you as a credit, and or you could lower the purchase price. That is another negotiation, and that's where you go from there. Step 6. This is going to be where we hit the appraisal. An appraisal is when the bank sends out a third-party appraiser to give you a value on the home based on comparables in the area and the condition it is in, as well as the quality of construction. They verify that around with the square footage, find comps to find its value, and then they will give you what's called an appraisal back, which is a report telling you what the bank says your house is worth. If the appraisal comes back higher than what you paid for, aka the purchase price, congratulations. You've got a really good realtor. It means that you move in with instant equity. If for whatever reason, the appraisal comes back lower than what you paid for it, you then get the opportunity to renegotiate the purchase price. Now, if it comes back right at it, you're good to go. Walk away. Typically, and most often, it will come back right at it or a little above. But that's a good deal. You're ready to move on. Step 7 is the escrow period. This is going to be a time where we get to just take a breath. This is where we're going through verification of lender needs, and title is running their work, making sure things look good there. There are no liens against the house. This is just a moment to verify that we're looking good. Gathering the final details is what the title company is going to do. This is when they're also going to get their paperwork ready, as well as the lender getting their paperwork ready. Everything's getting prepped for closing. A day or two before closing, you're going to go do a final walkthrough. This is to verify that it was in the same condition as when you saw it and expected it to be. If all looks good, we're good to go and we're clear to close. Congratulations! It's closing day. You made it. You have made it through the Home Buying 101 process, and it is time to sign your documents. Listen, I know it was a hard road, but you made it. This is the final step where you're gonna meet at the title company to sign on that dotted line for all of your hard work and ownership. Then the title company is going to take all of that document and report it to the county, as well as send it to the lender and collect the checks and disperse the checks and all of it. Title company handles it from there, and you get your keys and you get to go home and move into your new house. Congratulations. Happy closing.